G'day all, welcome back to Dad vs Son and our playthrough of Unconditional Surrender in Europe. Again, my apologies for the air conditioner noise. It's still a bit nippy this morning, so just trying to warm up the cave. Righto, a little bit of housekeeping. So, straight up, the first thing I think I made a mistake on in the last turn is when I moved 10th Army up to here to attack the Polish unit here. I think I moved over the top of 8th Army and then up into here, which should have cost me one extra movement point. So I actually couldn't have done that attack. So in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it mattered too much because two panzers still would have come through, sweeping through and pushed him out the way he did, because the unit wasn't reduced or anything else. I don't believe at that point he just retreated over to here. So apologies for that. Other things. I had some feedback from Salvatore Vasta. Thank you very much. It was much appreciated. And he pointed out to me that when I had the areas ceded to the Russians with Karelia and East Poland, that it was in East Poland itself. When I moved units in, I was counting 2 movement points to move into the cities when it should have only been 1, because they became Russian home territory. So thanks very much for that. The other thing he pointed out was that with Cherbourg and all the rest of it, rather than stacking 15 high and all the rest of it, because you've got fleets and convoys and units and everything else, just maybe leave the unit in Cherbourg to show that it's there and just put the naval assets, convoy assets to the side in the C-hex, just so you could see exactly what's there, if that's going to be a bit of a problem. So thank you very much for that. The other thing I've done is I've just placed Belgium, the Netherlands and Denmark and Norway's counters out, just as a stack with their production and willpower and everything else, to show that they're actually not doing anything at the moment. They're just potential areas to go into at some stage. Rightio, so I was having a little bit of a think. The other thing I screwed up is when I brought at the end of turn, I don't think I showed you, so it didn't really make any great difference. I brought these 2 units off the turn track and put them into eliminated, and they should have gone into mobilization as per the setup. So that's been done, and the garrison unit we picked up for conquering Poland moved over, and again the 2 Russian armies as well moved from eliminated to mobilization as well, ready to go for the next turn. So that's it. To speed things along a little bit, I've already done the production values for the economy phase, so they're all set up, and that's that. So what we're going to do first up is get into the weather phase. So let's see if I can get a tray up here for you to have a look at. I'm not sure. It's going to be harder and harder to get the tray into the thing. Okay, so we've got the 3 weather areas, blue, green and yellow. So I've got a blue, green and sort of an off-white dye. And as I said, we're using the Living Player Aid sheet from 30th of April, so that's a little bit different to what you're used to. So let's see what we get. Okay. So in the blue area, the cold zone, a 5 is severe weather. No surprise there. In the mild zone, we have a 5, which is, oh, look at that, severe weather. And in the warm zone, we have a 2. And in the warm zone for a 2 is fair weather. So, pity I'm doing anything down there at the moment. Right, so we can get that out of there. Okay, weather's done. Declare war phase. I'm not declaring war on anybody else at the moment. There's not much sense in that, so we'll go on to the economy phase. Production's done, so we're good to go there. There's no strategic warfare because we haven't entered into the Low Countries or France or anything at the moment, so that's good. Strategic movement. Okay, so strategic movement for the Axis. And I think we might do this just to get our troops moving around. And I'm going to strategically move 2 Panzer. And he is going to move all the way. Oh, yeah, okay. I'll just pick him up and get him out of the bloody way. And I'm going to bring him all the way over to Aachen. I'll just leave the aircraft there for the time being, so I remember to do that. And he has moved to there. Okay, strategic movement for the Western powers. I don't think there's any real requirement for them to strategically move anything at the moment. We've already got the BEF sitting here in Cherbourg, so we don't need to worry about that. Strategic movement for the Soviets. And again, I don't think there's really anything that I need to strategically move at this time. So we're not going to worry about that either. So we go into the operations phase. Okay. So Axis operations phase. So what do we want to do is we want to start getting troops from here back over here, making sure that we leave sufficient troops over here for the, what do they call it again? Blah, blah, blah. I can't remember. But we've got to leave 3 ground units and 2 air units over on the, what's to become the Eastern Front. Okay. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to activate 1 Panzer. And I'll just put the block on it so I know. So I'm going to use these silver blocks rather than the big red things in future, so you can see what I'm doing. So 2 production points to activate 1 Panzer, and he is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to there, and he is happy-ish. Right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to activate the 10th Army here, 1 production point, and then it's going to move up into here. 1, 2, 3, 4. on the border, ready to go. He's moved. I'm going to leave these 2 units here at the moment. The 2 air units have to stay, so it'll be 8th Army here to activate for 1 production point, and he's going to come back over west as well. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just sit in here. Done. Now, do I want to move the air units forward up here? He can cover this unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can cover this unit, so this one needs to come forward. He's got 1 sortie on him at the moment, so I'm going to bring him forward to Warsaw, and now he has 2 sorties on him. And I'm going to bring this one forward as well, and just put it in Poland. And he now will have 3 sorties on him. Done. So that's all the movement over there for the Axis. We come over here, and I'm just going to... I'm going to leave him there. I don't see the sense in coming up and then punching through. He can do it all from there. Or do I want to? Oh, stuff it. Let's do it. So he's just going to move up into Kiel for 1 production point, 1 movement point. And he's been moved. Righto. Now over this area, I'm going to take that off. And now, and we get that back. So we've already moved 2 Panzer. He's in Aachen. And this is where I was thinking of maybe trying to bash down the French Air Force and keep them down. In preparation, but we are in severe weather, and that would just be stupid. Absolutely stupid. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to move 2 Luft and put it down here. No. And put it here. Is that where I want him? Yeah. Just to bring him a little bit more to the centre so that he can support him there, and he'll have 1 sortie placed on him. And they can just help to support each other like that. And that is the Axis done. So Western faction. So we've got all these here, and like I said, I want to get this guy up into Lille. So we're going to activate him for 2 production. Well, let's do the French first, get him out of the way. Do I want to do anything with the French? I've got these 2 units covering the border. I've got a 2nd line back here. I put this bloke back in Dijon. So he's basically my reserve to come forward. And my final reserve at the moment is the Alps unit. So we'll just leave him there. So no, I don't think there's any French to move. So we're just going to move the BEF. So 2 production points. And the BEF goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 into Lille. And that's the only one we're moving, so I'm not going to worry about marking him. So that's done. I'm going to take these Axis ones off. Because they're all done. Okay, Ruskies. What do they wish to do? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to activate 6 army here, and I just want to get him up into Viborg effectively. So 1 production point for them. And he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and he stops just short. I don't want to move the bloke out from the Leningrad fort. And I don't believe I can bring them out at the moment anyway. So 1 production point for the Ruskies. Okay, so we've finished that. Then we're into the supply sub-check phase. So for the Germans, everybody's in supply. There's no hassles there whatsoever. For the Western powers, we have 1 extra sortie going on to 4 convoy down in the Suez to supply Western Desert Force. So I've just done that, and we end up with another one on the convoy here to supply the BEF. I'll just leave that in there. And this here is the home fleet, I believe. Yep, just beside them. Okay, so that's done. We go into the no supply phase. Everybody's in supply, no hassles. Replacements. Okay, so the Axis is going to spend 3 to reduce these 2 sorties. They're going to spend another 3 here to reduce so 4 Luft down to 1 sortie. That leaves us 20. So I think we'll waste the money for another 3 to remove that sortie. And we're down to 17. Yep, and that is it for the Axis. Okay, Western. I'm not going to worry about the sortie for this convoy because I can, if I'm going to spend replacement points, then I want to remove 2 sorties if I can. And it's not affecting anything at the moment, so I'm going to spend 3 to remove the 2 sorties from 4 convoy down in the Suez. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to, just because I can, I'm going to spend 4 to remove the sortie this turn from the home fleet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that leaves the Brits with 9 production points. Okay, and then I'm just going to put home fleet under the convoy now, since it doesn't have a marker on it. And I think that's all the Brits want to do. The French don't have anything to do, and the Russians don't have anything to do for that whatsoever. The upgrade phase, there is no upgrades whatsoever. Okay, so we have the mobilization phase, and the Germans have 1 garrison unit to bring out, and they also have 2 reduced armies to bring out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 1 production point to bring out 1st German garrison, and my idea with him is to eventually get him over there. So I could actually save a bit of time and trouble and put him in Danzig, because that's part of the Polish corridor, which is classed as a German home city. So he's over there ready to go. Then I've got 6th Army, and 6th Army is going to go up here in Hamburg, just sitting on top of that convoy unit for one, and then the final one is 12th Army, which is going to come out, and I'm going to stick them in Bremen, like that. Okay, the Russians, their units come out fully sick, ready to go. So they have 2 units to bring out. They have the 7th and the 8th Armies. And what do we want to do with them? And I think what I want to do is I'm going to put 7 in Kiev and 8 I'm actually going to stick in the Moscow fort. That way I don't forget to put a unit in there, and it's good to go. There's going to be plenty more Russians coming out at the time, so I think we'll be right for them at the moment. Okay, diplomacy phase. Dun, dun, dun. Sorry about the wobbles. So at the moment we have drawn the Axis and the West got political successes last time. The Axis put theirs in Rome, and they've got one in Romania from conquering Poland, and the Western faction put theirs in Madrid to help to protect Gibraltar, because we didn't want that going Axis. We don't care if it stays neutral, but we just don't want it going Axis. And the Russians got an area seized and took Karelia. So the Germans are going to pay 5, and they go down to 9, and they're going to draw. And the reason they're drawing is because they know there's one political success, and there is also one pro-Axis marker in there, and they get a sortie. I don't think that's supposed to be in there. Let's try that again. They get a no event. Now the Brits are going to spend 5 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they go down to 4 production points. They're going to draw as well, because they want to try and get that pro-Axis marker out, or the political success, to give them Spain, just to be nasty, or a ceded area for Russia, and they get a no event as well. Now the Russians know that they have 1 area seized and 1 success, and again they've got that pro-Axis that they want to try and remove, so they're going to spend 5 and draw this time as well. And they get a political success. So what do they want to do with that? Now that's an interesting one. And I think what they might do is I think they're going to remove this one from Romania to put the Germans or the Axis forces on a back foot. They don't really care that much about Italy as such, because let's be honest, to the big Russian fighting machine, the Italians don't mean a great deal at the moment, and the Italians tend to get frittered away more down in the Mediterranean than anywhere else. So they are going to remove this pro-Axis marker, and that's done. So we go into the victory check phase. Germany still exists, so there's nothing there. And then the end of turn phase. So we move the turn marker forward into November. The Germans pick up the airdrop event, which they put in their little box, and I'll pause it there, and then we go straight on to that turn. Righto, back again, and we're ready to go on with November 1939. So first things first, I've again reset the production, ready to go and stuff like that. So here we are. And starting up the top on the new chart, so we had the severe weather in the cold zone, and it's going to stay severe even with the new chart. The weather in the fair zone is now poor, and the weather in the warm zone stays fair. Righto. Declare war. So we have, it would be nice to go into Denmark, but the weather is still poor. Now, how does that affect us? So movement-wise, we get a +2 movement points for attacking a unit in a hex affected by poor or severe weather. Straight up. That's just the movement cost. And then once we're fighting, our air support, if we had any, and we don't at the moment, would only be a +1 rather than a +2 and so forth. So it's and it's a -1 for attacking as well. So look, realistically, yeah, we could get in there and we could probably do it. We don't really need the air support to go into Denmark. We will need it if we decide to go up to Norway, because we'll want to do our airdrop and everything else. So if I get that out of the way, then I can start bringing more units over, prep for the assault on Norway if I want to go that way. I'm still a bit iffy about going into Norway. I'm sort of really thinking about maybe forgetting about Norway, take Denmark as a bit of a buffer, but then I'm thinking serious about Sea Lion and going into Great Britain, because they don't have a great deal at the moment. And that's the beauty of that. But I'm just not sure. Home Fleet is a bit of a worry. And I have to beat down the French and the Low Countries first. But yeah, at the moment, I think we will. We're going to declare war on Denmark because we're just that kind of guy. Why not? No, we're not. We're not that stupid. Okay, no declare war. Economy phase is done. Strategic warfare, there's none. Strategic movement for the Axis. I don't think we need to worry about strategic movement for the Axis. There's no real strategic movement for the Western faction or for the Russians. So we forget about that, and we can go straight into the operations phase for the Germans. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to activate 1 Panzer for 2 production points, and we're going to bring them west. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to here. And they're just ready to punch through the Low Countries. So they're done. Okay, and then we are going to bring going to bring 8th Army forward for 1 production point. And he's going to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 into here. And he is done. He is destroying everything. So he's just getting into character. What else do we want to do? Bum, 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 bum. I'll leave 6 where it is. I'll leave 4 where it is. 12. Do I want to bring it forward 1? No, I don't. So that's the Germans complete. Right. They have everybody in supply, so that's no hassle. The Western powers, the Brits don't need to move anything, do they? 2, 3, 4, 5. They can cover the BEF. So that's fine. They can help to cover these French units here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to Paris, which is good. Okay, so there's nothing for them, so it's just, again, the convoy gets another sortie, supplying them, and 4 convoy in Suez picks up another sortie as well. Okay, and then we have the Soviets, and they're just going to activate 6th Army here and go up into Vyborg for 1. And they're quite happy to sit where they are for the rest at this stage. And they're all in supply as well. Okay. No supply, we have everybody in supply. Replacements phase. While the Germans have got the money, we're going to spend 3 to remove this sortie. That's 1, 2, 3. We're going to spend, let's come over here. We're going to spend 2 more to flip these units, and that takes us down to 20 supply. So 12 is now got its replacements, and 6 has its replacements. And that's all there. We'll spend 3 to remove these 2 from the convoy there. 1, 2, 3, leaving them tons as well. They don't have anything else that they need to do. The French don't have anything to do, and the Russians don't have anything to do at the moment. So that is mobilization, the replacements phase done. There are no upgrades, there is no mobilization to do for anybody, so we can go straight into diplomacy. Right. So again, coming down here, all the political successes are gone. We've got 4 no events still in there. We have a political failure in there. We have an area seized in there, and we have 1 pro-Axis marker. Now, if the Germans put stuff back in, then that's not really going to help them at this stage. So they're actually going to spend 5 to draw, because they want to try and get their pro-Axis marker out. And they don't want to put stuff in that the Brits or the Russians can pull out. And they get a no event, so that's not a problem for them. The Brits, on the other hand, are going to spend 5, and they're going to put a political success with a no event back in, just to help the Ruskies a little bit. And then the Ruskies are going to spend 5, and they're going to actually put an area seized and a no event back in, just to help them out. So this is looking good for the Russians. It's looking a little bit okay for the Axis, and sort of neither there here nor there for the pro-Western faction. But it means that the Germans only have 1 political success and 1 pro-Axis marker in there, and they're quite happy. The others are quite happy for the Germans to suffer that way. Victory check phase, and again we can see that the Germans are still surviving, so game on. And end of turn phase, and we have the turn marker going into December of 39, and the Germans pick up the 9th Army, which goes reduced into their mobilisation box. And that's the end of that turn. So I think we'll call it quits there, and I'll put this one up. You can see again if I've made any glaring errors, and then I'll come back and we can kick in again. So thanks very much, and I hope it hasn't been too onerous, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.